Hi everyone, welcome. This is the second part of our Search Intelligence webinar. My name is Charles Cheng and I will be walking you through the key areas of the product today. The agenda is simple. It is actually a continuation of the first webinar, but this time around, we'd like to spend more time showing you what you can benefit straight out from the box. Not only that, we want to give you some insights into what you could do on your own with this product. And we do that by including and sharing with you additional reports from the Sage website that when you run it, you tell yourself that, wow, this product is great because I could actually build reports of that type. So hopefully by the end of this event, you'll be tempted to give this product a try. So what is Sage Intelligence? It is a reporting tool that runs within Sage 300. Now, although that is how most of you would use the software through the menu inside 300, but you can also run it outside of Sage 300. But because of the integration with Sage 300, when you run it outside, you will still need a Sage 300 user account because we still need to ensure security is maintained, that you are allowed to actually access the data. Now you access the data through what we refer to as published data containers. Data containers are, by definition, your data. They are containers for financial, sales, inventory, purchases, and many others. The additional proposition here is ability to pull data from various companies' databases. What this means that it is now possible for you to create a report that actually takes data from various business entities and put them in a single report. Now, this may not be the financial consolidation, but at least it allows you the ability to now consolidate data so that you can present information on a single report. Now, this is obviously very unique because I don't recall seeing any other competitor's product giving you this flexibility. So in reality, Sage Intelligence is really a very powerful data visualization tool. Now, the output of this data containers obviously goes straight into Microsoft Excel. What this means is that you are now using Microsoft skill to format and compute your report. But to really benefit from this, Sage Intelligence not only are you to allow you to do all that, but it allows you to save it as a template. So the subsequent execution of this report will actually present the data in the format and computation that you have created. Now, it uses entirely Microsoft Excel skill to do that. So your skill will be immediately useful. And if you already have some level of Excel skill, you are immediately already capable of using this product. But later, we will share with you where you can download further reports that work straight off. And in fact, I think we will have a fair number of those reports in our show and tell today. And the license, of course, is provided you free of charge. All right. So what you're going to get straight off is the ability to view, the ability to edit, the ability to create reports of your own. Right now, although there are going to be some additional licenses that you can purchase, but usually I find that most customers will be able to survive without any additional licensing requirements. However, where you will require additional licenses when you want to have more than one person to be able to view reports at the same time. You want to have more than one person to be able to edit and create report at the same time. Now, if they are not doing it at the same time, you don't need additional licenses, right? Or if you have data that you want to create that is not already created in the data containers, then you need what we call the connector license. However, very often you find that you may not be the one that need to create the data containers. If someone has already done it and they share the report with you, on immediate import of that report, the data container that they have used or they have created will be immediately available to you for you to create new reports of your own. Now, in this schematic diagram that you're looking at, you can see how reports are generated and the outputs are actually shared. So on the left-hand side, you have your data, and then it is accessed through what we call connectors, and it's passed into data containers, which are definition of your data. And then through the report manager tool, you're able to generate output either in Microsoft Excel or HTML format. And you can place these files either in shared folders that users will then access to view the reports, or you can pump it out as HTML file and put it in some kind of web portal for them to access. And that means that now you could have a reporting system where your users can actually access those reports anywhere, anytime through a web browser of their own. Now, that is definitely flexibility for you. Now, here's the list of features that you can expect from a product. Now, obviously, this is not a complete list. Otherwise, this screen will be so full of boxes, I don't think we even be able to focus on anything. But I intentionally put in a minimal amount of them, which are relevant, I think, and that you might be that you want to be aware of. So I'm going to leave it to you to read this yourself so that you can get a feel of what the product is all about. Now, the thing that I want you to take away from this is that you know that this tool is going to be a very useful tool for customers because it allows the end users now the ability to do extraction, analysis, and reporting of the data. Contrast to if you don't have this, your limitation will be really limited to the statement designer that is found in the general ledger, which is again a Microsoft Excel reporting tool, right? Other than that, I think most of the time you find tools that we users and tools that you can purchase in the market will require a lot of technical skill, which will be obviously not too friendly if you are not technical itself. All right, without further ado, I think everyone is all excited and eager to take a look at some of these reports that we have prepared for you today. All right, so let's go ahead. To give you an idea of what we will be covering today, I have them listed here. So first off, we're going to be looking at some sales reporting because I think always sales reports are popular requirements in any accounting system. So I have certainly collected four of the many reports that relate to sales to show you today. So I have the sales analysis per customer, flash report, sales item category by salesperson, sales trend analysis by year. Now, it is not so much the nature of this report, but I think I purposely choose this report because it reflects the power of what this tool can actually offer you as a customer, right? And if you go forward, you can see that I even have a cash flow report, giving you an idea that a powerful concept such as cash flow reporting is also provided as a standard report within the portfolio provided in the product. Last but not least, I also have some advanced capability built into certain reports that I want to showcase. Not so much to, to convince you that this is easy to create, but just to showcase to you that if you really put in some effort, this tool can really make things happen for your business. For example, you can have a financial reporting book. And I think this is very common requirements, right? Otherwise, you notice at month end, you'll be distributing many reporting files to your managers, right? For them to be able to view. Imagine this. Now you have a workbook where all the reports are embedded as worksheets. So with one single Excel file, the managers now have access to all the reports that they need to do their business at a glance. Yeah? And to add to that, I'll also be covering how some of this reporting book can actually make use of reporting trees. Now, reporting trees is a unique concept in the Sage Intelligence product. It allows you to create your organization structure and allow you to drag and drop different branches of the structure to reflect their data in those reports that you're distributing. It is also able to consolidate data from multiple companies, which I mentioned a bit earlier, right? So I'm going to show you one good example where actually it shows you multiple companies, but with a little twist there, it also shows you with financial ratios. Okay, let's go and take a look at the first one. For our first show and tell report, I'm going to choose one that is come standard with the initial install. It is called Sales Analysis by Customer. So if you notice here, I have a folder called Performance Monitoring Reports. It's a name I created, a folder I created, and I have placed all the reports that I have taken from the standard install, plus those reports that I downloaded from the Sage website. and place it here. And I've given them more meaningful names compared to the original names that was created for them. So sales analysis by customer is one of them. I'll click on that. And I'm going to choose the fiscal year. Now it's going to select all the data that is 2022 and the years before that because it's a less than or equal to, right? So if I have 2019 data, 2020 data, 2021 data, they will all be extracted together with the 2022 data. And they will be placed in the Excel workbook, right? And this worksheet called number one, right? As you can see there, flashing in front of yours, in your front of your eyes, and it then disappears and hides behind using the hide feature of Excel. Now, this report essentially is a series of pivot charts together with slices. So you can actually go in there and say, all right, I do not want to see all the years. Can I just focus on the year 2022? So if I go to click on 2022, the data will now reflect the year 2022. And I can go in and focus on customers, cities, and so on, right? So I can uh, use this as I deem fit, or if I think this is not exactly what I want, I need to do a little bit differently, by all means, go ahead and edit this and save it for your future use. All right, so this is the first report that we are sharing. This is a report that I downloaded from the Sage website. So this is one of the additional reports. It's called the Sales Flash Report based on data from the account receivable module. There's another one that you can download that is exactly doing the same thing, Flash Report, but basing on data from the order entry module. So I'm going to use the AR module and I'm going to click run. And again here, I have to choose the period. So I'm going to again choose 2019 January so that I will make sure that I have enough data to actually walk you guys through how the report looks like and what it can do for you. So it's going to be from that until the 30th of September 2024. It's going to go out and extract the data based on the data container used in this particular report. Now remember, this is a report that you need to download from the Sage website because it's not part of the standard install. By you doing so, you also import in the data container used in this particular report. Now, you look this at this report is very interesting. It has a very graphical homepage. You can see here. It has two hot buttons here. One called Sage Flash Dashboard. The other one called Sage Flash Report. So let's click on the first one. When you click on it, it actually brings you to the other worksheet called Sage Flash Dashboard. And you can see here at a glance the total sales for the period that's shown at the top here. And it also gives you the top 10 state sales, top 10 customer sales, top 10 sales rep. And if you want to focus on exactly a day, you can actually go to here, click on the drop down list, and select the actual calendar date and focus on the sale for that particular date. So you can actually go in and zoom into that basis. So this report is fairly useful, right? So if I were to go into the Sage Flash report, you can see that it is actually a pivot table report that has some slices created from there. So you can see at a glance here by customer and showing the name, what are their total sales during this whole period. All right. And if you want, you can filter and zoom in by state and province, by salesperson, one, two, three, four, five. All right. So it is going to be a very useful report if you have this particular need. All right. This is going to be a demonstration of a report called sales item by category by salesperson. So I'm going to go to the performance monitoring folder and I'm going to choose this sales item category by salesperson report. I'm going to run it and we're going to show you what exactly it can do. So you're going to ask me for start date and end date. So again, here to make sure that we have sufficient data, I'm going to be generous, maybe go all the way to 2019, January the 1st to maybe today's date, or maybe to the end of this month. Like any other report, it will perform the extraction and it would then populate the Excel workbook, and then using the Excel facilities to actually create worksheet and lay out the report according to the template that was previously used to save the report. All right, so we got the report now completed, and we should be seeing the report now on our desktop. So this is the sales by item category sold by salesperson report. Now, interesting in this report, if you are planning to use it, let me maximize it. You can see it uses what we call the tree map feature in Excel, right? Some of you who have never used tree map, obviously this is a unique charting feature on Excel that allows you to, based on data, to create a map. So the larger boxes means the data found in that particular item or that particular element in your data is is bigger, right? So for example, this is accessories. The value that it is seeing is 40,899, whereas in this case here, it is accessories value 17,575. So this is Dan Nishiga, this is Bill Basin. So at a glance, when you look at this report, what you see is that you see all your space salesperson all map out. The one with the biggest real estate space obviously is the most successful salesperson in your company, right? So you can immediately see who are the top performers, who are the weaker performers, and you can immediately see what are the particular products that each of these salesperson are very focused on. And you also have a slicer on the right hand side here where you can actually go and zoom in by a specific person. Let's say, for example, you want to go and have a one-on-one chat with Don A. Teo, right? So if you click on Don A. Teo here, right? Don A. Teo will now be the focus, and you can see Don A. Teo total sales is now split up in this manner. So proportionally, he does well in accessories, but not too well in tilter chairs, right? So this is how you can make use of this report for this particular purpose. Another interesting sales report, and this time around, I'll call it sales trend analysis by year. This is a report that I've downloaded from the Sage website. So these are the additional reports that are not found in your standard report component, right? So I'm going to click on sales trend analysis by year, click on run, and I think I can choose to again choose a year that I want to do. So I may choose all years if I want to, right, to be a bit more greedy. Now, obviously, if you have a lot of data, the idea here is not to go and download too much data and bloat your Excel workbook unnecessarily. So if you only need just 1 year, selectively choose 1 year. All right. In this particular report here, you can see it is nothing more than a thing. It is a pivot chart and it's a vertical bar chart. You can see here it shows you by year the sales of the company's product, right? And you can very quickly see a trend, right? So if you see in this particular case, immediately I can spot 2022. Maybe that's the year of the COVID, right, where sales actually dropped significantly, and you can see at a glance that that was a case. Now, obviously, this data is being created quite some time back, way before the COVID pandemic, right? So maybe Sage has a little bit of a vision, a bit of a visionary. They could actually see that 2022 was a bad year because of COVID, and therefore the data reflects that. But anyway, you can see here, you can choose selectively to focus on a month or period, right? You can choose by quarters, or you can just focus on year. So let's say you want to choose only on year 2022, and you want to choose focus purely on the month of March. What exactly happened, right? So you can see 2022 March there was 18. In January you have 15, and in January you have 9. So actually you can see here at a glance all this interesting information. So if I want, I can go back and reset the thing and see the trend over the years. Right, now let's move away from sales reporting and take a look at another very important area, which is cash flow. Now, you know that in the standard reports in Sage 300, there are really no cash flow reporting capability. So the fact that you can actually download a report from the Sage website that actually gives you the ability to view your cash flow in a report using the Sage Intelligence tools is something that you probably want to do as soon as you get your hands into Sage Intelligence. So let's go see how this Sage Intelligence cash flow report looks like. So I'm going to click it and run it. And I'm going to be able to specify what year that I want to view it. So I'm going to choose all years just so that I have a chance to toggle between years to see the cash flow situation. And I think this cash flow report actually will show you this the year that you choose versus the previous year, right? So it's a comparative report, all right? So it's going to be rendering the data now and formatting the report. Right, done. So you're going to see a report that actually have two tabs, one called cash flow and the other one called cash flow detail. Let's take a look at the cash flow report first. You can see here the cash flow report is actually currently showing you 2023. So the comparison will be actually made with the year 2022 in this case here, right? In this case here, right? So what we're going to do here is we know 2023 doesn't have a lot of data, so we're going to switch to 2022. And you notice that when I do that, the comparison will then be made against the year 2021. All right. So what do you actually get to see here? So obviously, you know, cash flow is all about three things, right? It's going to be about operating activities, it's about your investment, and it's going to be about financing. So these three areas are being represented in this particular report, and it gives you the blow by period, right? So you can actually see the movement of your cash flow across the period. Okay, let's see, maybe we can make this a bit more clearer and visible. So I'm going to change it to I stand so the numbers will appear, right? So you can see here there is ability for you to now take advantage of this additional report to get a view of your cash flow position. So if you click on each of these cells, you can see that it actually referring to information from additional worksheets. So in this case here, it's actually taking from the cell E24 in the cash flow detail report. So if I go to here in cash flow detail, E24, which is this column, yeah, this particular cell, it is okay, so it is not using 2022. All right, so you can see here is 1.043 million. So this is where the 1.043 million comes about. All right, and if you go to here, how did this guy get 1.043 million? It's obviously based on the information from these two values from this column. Yeah, so if you can take a look at this one, you can see that you also have a chart at the bottom here that actually shows you the 2022 and 2021. And at a glance, you can see that 2021, the cash flow is not as fantastic as your current year of focus 2022. Of course, at the bottom there, you can also see the balances as per cash flow, right? For you to do some reconciliation if there's any, right? So there is some formulas being used here that you can use to go and maybe analyze your chart of accounts and the balances to make sure that they are actually reflecting information correctly. So this is again a standard report that may not be standard in the sense that it doesn't come with the initial install, but standard as in it can be downloaded from the Sage website and be used immediately, right? There's no need for you to make any change other than the fact that at runtime you actually choose the year that you want to focus on. In this next sample report, it is a report that comes with a standard installation, so you don't have to download from the Sage website. It is called the Financial Reporting Book with Reporting Trees, or at least that is the name I gave to that report. Now it's going to embody two very unique features. So while it's running, I'm going to explain to you those features. So let me click on select all come years, Click OK, and let it run. So it's going to go out and extract. But once it's extracted, it will create a Excel workbook that will contain a series of worksheets. And the important thing here is, remember, the concept of reporting workbook is to be able to pull together various reports that you normally distribute individually into a single Excel workbook, so that the executive receiving it doesn't have to worry that they have a whole series of files in their laptop that they're not too sure whether which is which. Right? So everything is now embodied into one single uh, Excel workbook, so it's more convenient in that sense. The other concept that it introduces in this particular example is that it uses what we call reporting trees. Now, reporting trees is not unique, right? In the accounts, chart of account setup in Sage 300, you actually create what we call structures. And in the structures, you tell the system what are the segment values. So the segment values basically represent the structure of your business. So in the case of sample, we actually uses a segment for division, a segment for region. In your business, you could have product group, product line, or some other unique way of categorization of your business. Whichever way it is, you can use those structure with this particular uh, s- work, sample report. So right now you can see at the bottom here, there's a whole series of report. All right, and that is what I mean by reporting book, because it actually gives you all this report all in one single workbook, including the cash flow that we showed previously that we actually downloaded from the Sage website as additional report. So they embodied that into the report here as well. All right, so you look at the divisional and region report. This is the two reports that actually incorporate the concept of reporting trees. You notice here it has a feature here called reporting unit, and inside that two cell here it actually have a value, and this value is actually taken from the reporting tree. So if I go to the three dot menu and choose trees and expand this tree, you can see that it mirrors the way the sample company database in Sage 300, if you were to install it and play around with it, it actually groups the chart of accounts into commercial and retail division, and then it has region, north, south, east, west. All right. So in this particular case, someone has actually dragged and dropped commercial into here and retail in here. Now, if I were to go and drag retail, instead of putting it into here, I put it into this particular thing, then of course this particular portion of the report will now reflect the retail division. Now, obviously, it's not showing much things because the year used is 2022. So let me just, sorry, 2023. So let me change to 2022 and period three. You can see the data now showing. And because this is showing the same year and period, though obviously these two are retail values and the numbers all matches correctly. So if I want, I can now click drop commercial into here, and it will show the commercial value. So these values and formulas here are not typed and not hard coded to a division. They are actually at runtime determined by what actually you drop in here. So whatever is created as the setup for the tree will be used to filter the data to reflect the values. All right. Now, if I go to region, you can see that it uses the same concept, but this time around, the reporting unit actually have the ability for you to drag and drop the region into those cells that you show at here. So if I want, I can go and drag something and place it here. Now, obviously, I could not, for example, drag Northern Retail and put it here because it makes no sense, right? Because the display here, commercial, is fixed, right? It's not a dynamic value. So if you do that, then obviously you're mixing apple and oranges together. So in this particular report, it's a little bit more hard coded in that sense. So it does make sense for you to go and make sure you choose the right one to paste, right? So that you don't see misleading information, right? So this is exactly how reporting trees can actually enhance the way you allow your users to interact with your data and the final output of the report. In this last example, we were taking a look at one of the standard reports that come with the standard installation is a consolidation report. It is going to be from this folder called console financial ratio. Now I have copied it into my folder and I have labeled them as multiple companies financial ratio. So let me just go and run it and show you what it looks like. This report will take, of course, a little bit longer than normal, simply because it will then have to extract data from two different companies that I have in my installation. Now, obviously, if you are going to be consolidating a whole bunch of companies' databases and they are big databases, then obviously it will correspondingly take more longer time. And this is where you want to take advantage of the capability to actually make use of Windows Task Scheduler to actually process the report and have the report maybe saved into a folder for you to view them when you are online again. And typically, this is what happens when you go into the report itself and go to properties. And if you turn on show advanced, you can see that there is this ability for you to specify an output file and also ability for you to run some add-ins. Now, if you go to the add-in screen, you can see that you can actually select some of these very interesting add-ins that come standard with the product. In the case of Alchemix add-in one, you see there's a series of libraries that you can make use of them. And I think one of them is called intranet internet integration module. This is the library that you will use if you want to convert the output of your Excel file into HTML so that you can save it into a, a reporting portal to be shared with your users. If you want to go and make use of the email function, then obviously you need to configure email properly in Sage Intelligence before you can actually successfully use that. But then it means that you can use email now to automatically send the email to your users, right? You can also make use of commands that is normally found in the operating system, right? By choosing the operating system function. All right, so I think we are now at the rendering stage, as you can see on the window on the right-hand side there, but it still be a while before it's complete. So if you look at the others, you probably see that you also have ability to do CRM report add-in. Now, I'm not too sure about that because I don't have CRM installed on my system, but I believe if you're using CRM, this tool can also be used with that, and you can actually use some of the features here to maybe convert the output of the report and save it as a format that CRM can actually display in their system. So that is another way of sharing reports with your users, right? Maybe users of your CRM system in this case here. All right, so I think it is at the rendering stage now. I think it should be a minute or so more before it completes. So let me see what else we can talk about while waiting for it. If I go to the tools section, you can see that there are ability for you to even run all reports. So essentially, you can actually trigger the system to actually run all the reports in a folder sequentially, right? Although I do not think that it is very useful because most reports are most likely to require you to enter runtime parameters. So as long as you have runtime parameters, you cannot automate it by leaving it unattended. You probably will have to wait until the first one report finished, then you quickly specify the parameters for the second report and let it run. Okay, so it has completed now, and you can see here at the bottom, I have a bunch of worksheet. Let's take a look at them, right? So I have report trend, right? I have financial data, I have financial report settings. Now, obviously, the report settings worksheet is not so much a worksheet that you view as a report, but it's a worksheet for you to define what are the benchmark values that will be used in the report itself. So if you go to the financial report, you can see there's a column called benchmark. And if you look at this profit margin benchmark of 6.5%, now this is where it comes from, right? It comes from this particular cell, the profit margin 6.5%. So you have to decide based on your business, your own industry, what are these typically benchmark figures. You specify here so that the system can then now compare your data versus this data, right? And show you how it progresses. Now, obviously, this report now is pointing to 2022. If I click on 2022 and drill down, I can select 2022 instead of 2020, and it probably will show me numbers that are reflective of the situation in my database. You notice that there are five buckets here at the top called gross profit and so on. Now, where do you define this? Again, you go to back to the financial report settings here. These are the five boxes that you saw earlier. So if I will change the net income now to point to something else, for example, let's say I choose instead of net income, I want to see revenue, right? So let me just go to look for the revenue. Now I choose two as revenue. So now you come back here, you can see the second box here is reflecting revenue for the year 2022 for this company, right, that you are looking at. Now, if you look at the trend itself, you can see that it is now pointing to SAM 2. I can obviously change it to SAM 1. Uh, Make sure that it's same uppercase. Let me choose period 3. And you can see that now it actually shows you the values as of period 3 for the years, and it compares and shows you the variance against the benchmark. Yeah. So if you want to see the raw data that is being plotted in the system, you can come to this financial data worksheet and you can again choose the year and period for it to reflect correctly what the information is captured in your system. Last but not least, because it's a financial ratio report, in the last tab you see charts for all the profitability ratios, all the asset utilization ratio, and so on, right? So you can see that it is full of financial ratios that you can immediately use in your business. Now, obviously, some of these are more important to you than others, so your decision. If you think that some of these things are not so critical, you want to reorganize them, by all means do so, right? uh, Go and remove those pivot charts or charts that you don't need. Yeah, I think these are all charts and not pivot charts. So remove them accordingly, and they will disappear from this list here. You can relabel them according to your preference and so on. All right, so this is the last of the example reports. You can see that these reports here are already part of your installation and they are pretty powerful, especially the ability for you to now toggle between one company database to another. Now, obviously, some of you will say, what if I want to compare the two companies side by side? Then obviously it is possible. If you recall, uh, we have the ability to use reporting tree if you think that makes sense. If not, then you can always go and change this to make use of the formula. So if you notice here, in the case of this cell, it actually uses a formula called GL actual year to date 300 function. If I click on this uh, function argument wizard, you can see that it points to a company called D dollar 4, right, which is this SEM2, right? So if I have another company ID here called SAM1 here, and I can paint another formula that actually points to the SAM1 as the company ID, I'll be extracting the same information but from SAM1, right? So how did this all happen? Of course, again here, it all comes from that hidden worksheet. In this case here, it's going to be the worksheet called actuals. All right, and if it goes down, you can see here there is a company column. If you choose this company column and say I want to, let's say we go to data and say turn on filter, you can see that there are two options for you, right? So you choose only SAM1, then you can see it actually extracted out the SAM1 data as well for you, right? This is where you are able to toggle between SAM1 and SAM2. So far, you saw a fair number of standard reports as well as additional reports that we downloaded from Sage website. So if you want to know where you can actually download these additional reports, I have the link posted here. If you go to this link, you will actually see the web page I show on the right hand side. Look for that red colored button called download. When you click on it, you'll be downloading what we call a report utility. When you download the report utility, they will actually show you all the available reports from this particular website. And there's quite a fair bit of them. right? They come from various modules. So it is a good representation of reports that you can use immediately, as well as to give you some ideas what you can do with those reports. Now, recall I mentioned that if there are data containers that are not currently found in your system and you think that you need them, instead of buying the connector license, by just downloading and importing some of these reports where it actually have the appropriate data container that you need, you immediately have it available for you to use. All right. So I suggest that you go and do this as soon as you can. And if you think that you need more information, notice that there is a button or there's a link there called resources at the top. Click on that. You should be able to access the additional resources such as stage intelligence articles, knowledge base, and so on. So let us now quickly take a look at the report utility and see how it actually works. To save time, I've already downloaded the report utility to my machine. So I'm just going to execute the report utility. And because it's already downloaded, every time I need to import in another report of that comes from the additional report pack, I can just run the utility and choose the report that I want. So let me just show you how the utility looks like. The moment I click to start the report utility, you notice that it connects to the internet to the same website and start to retrieve the reports. Now this is a good thing because what it means here is that it will be able to go and download and show you the reports that are the latest in the Sage website. So you can see here I have some that is showing checked and some that are showing unchecked. So obviously the ones that are unchecked are the ones that I already have downloaded and imported into my report manager. So the ones that are showing in blue with a little tick means that these are the ones that I'm not, and I can choose to do that. Let me show you how choosing one of these will look like. So I'm going to select none so that I don't waste a lot of time waiting for everything to download. I'm just going to choose one of them. So let me just choose, let's say, for example, sales commission. All right. You click that and I click download, and it will begin to download that report onto my computer. Right. Once it's downloaded, I should be able to go into report manager and be able to see that downloaded report called sales commission report. All right, so it has completed the download. So if I get up from here and go into intelligence reporting, go to report manager, there will be a folder called new reports, which is automatically created if it is not there, right? And that is where it will put all the uh, reports that I've downloaded. So remember, I downloaded the sales commission report. So this is the one that came down, right? So if I want to, I can click run now to perform the execution. So I can choose a range of dates to process this report. So I'm going to choose, let's say, for example, the full year, right? For September, January 2022, January 1st to uh, to the last day of 2022, right? Of course, I could be more specific. Let's say I want to calculate the commission for a particular month in a year, that I would be able to do that, right? So in this case here, I'm going to choose a whole year. The simple reason is because I'm not too sure in the sample database whether there's enough data. So there is not enough data in 2022 for me to compute that. So it is obviously telling me that. So I have to expand my filter range a little bit wider so that it will at least get some data for me to report on. So I'm going to be a little bit greedier. I'm going to choose, let me see, 2019, right? September the 1st. Sorry, not September, January the 1st. And to do today's date, right? Okay, I'm going to run. I'm sure there's some data at least, right? Because I believe the sample data does have salesperson defined. So if there are sales and the sales attack the customers that use a salesperson, then there should be data extracted and presented to me in the report. You notice that there was this worksheet that shows rows and columns of data, right? But the moment the report is finished, you notice that that worksheet disappears, right? If I go to the other tab, you can see that it is still a pivot table, and that worksheet actually disappears. It's actually hidden away in the data worksheet, which is the row and column, which is used to power the reports itself. So the idea here is you do not want to confuse your users, right, with the unnecessary worksheets that of no relevance to them, right? Because you want them to focus on the report that you have created. So in this case here, you can see by salesperson, by specific invoices, the calculation of the commission based on the commission rates kept in the system where there are 5 tiers, and then they shows you the total sales amount and the total sales commission. So obviously commission has not been configured properly in this particular sample company, right? All the tiers are all 0%. So salesman, no matter how hardworking you are, you're not going to enjoy any commission. So this is how you make use of the report utility to identify what are additional reports that you can choose to download, and you can bring them down, and it will automatically be imported into your Sage Intelligence system. Now, obviously, if you import certain things and you find that it's of no use, you don't need it, you can always remove it from your Sage Intelligence new reports folder and then download others that comes along. Now that you have seen Sage Intelligence at work, I'm quite certain many, if not all of you, would have this in mind. This must be the best kept secret of Sage 300. So if you don't have Sage Intelligence already installed on your system and you are not already using it, you probably be wondering why didn't you do it? And remember, this was given to all our customers many years ago, but unfortunately, some of you may not be aware of it and may have not wanted it to be installed on your system. But today, after you've seen it in action, I'm quite certain many of you may want to immediately reach out to your business partners to get them to come and turn it on for your company, right? I think Sage Intelligence is a fantastic and very powerful data visualization solution simply because it is so tightly integrated with Sage 300. And because there's already a wide pool of reports out there that you can already benefit from, and the fact that because it uses Microsoft Excel, it also means that with your skill and knowledge on Microsoft Excel, you will be able to create reports of your own that you may use immediately, right? So my suggestion to you is seriously go and talk to your business partner and have it configured and turned on for you today. We have come to the end of this webinar. I'm sure some of you are excited enough to go out and try it. Now, this time around, we will be having a Q&A, but because we have promised you guys a 1 hour webinar, so I'm quite certain some of you may have only set aside 1 hour of your time in your busy schedule. So if you need to leave us down, I thank you for your attendance. Just bear in mind that you can still get notified on the recording once it is posted, where you can actually come back, run the recording, and actually review some of the questions that some of you guys who stay behind will be asking. So thank you very much for your attendance. We'll see you in the next webinar. For those of you who are staying back and hopefully would like to ask some questions, we have the chat utility in this webinar where you can click on it and type in your questions. Lynn will be helping me to moderate, and she will be telling me what are the questions. Now, we may not be running this Q&A for a long period of time because I also want to make sure that some of you will be able to go off and do your other work. So we will keep it short. And for those people who have questions that we couldn't answer today or have no time to answer today, we will try to answer them and subsequently share it with you. All right, so let's begin. Once you're finished, you can either save that virtual machine or you can delete it away if you don't want to eat up the disk space. So hopefully that answers the question. No further questions. I think there were some questions earlier. Maybe I can read out from the question box. Oh, there's still a lot. Sorry, I just scroll down. We can download the report template from Sage website. May I have the exact website or link? Okay, I think we have the link posted in the earlier in a slide before the end. If not, maybe Lynn, can you grab hold of that link and paste it as answer here? The next one is noted, is there documentation on linking this free version of Sage Intelligence to other database? I'm not too sure whether there is mention of this, but if you were to reach out to Sage after this event, I think they could go and dig out some documentation and share with you. I think that is from TK Howe. Can I get more information on SCI-BI? Okay, so SCI-BI is the biggest sister of Sage Intelligence. Likely, if you are using that, you are probably be using the Sage X3 product. Again, reach out to us if you need to have more information on SCI. Is SI still supported with Sage 300? Yes. Otherwise, we won't be running this seminar, right? Because this seminar is all about Sage Intelligence with Sage 300. Does this feature use Excel macro? Yes. If you want to execute a macro, when you are defining the report, there is a place where you will type in your macro name that you have already added into your workbook, right? So that at the execution of that report, the macro will actually get called and performed accordingly. Does the sale report available can use optional field to be included or you need to be add on in the connector or table? I think in the case of optional field, I believe most of the data container, if not all, does not include optional field because the problem with optional field is being optional, it means that between one company and the next, the use of those fields may not be consistent. So it's quite difficult for someone to create a data container that is generic enough that will suit everyone. So if you're interested, maybe you can reach out to us, give us an idea which particular optional field table that you are interested in. Maybe we can do a bit of digging out and get some answers to you, or maybe even give you a data container that contains that combination so that you can import in and use it yourself. Okay, I'm referring to the standard available. Okay, yeah. So the standard sales report, I don't think it comes optional field because if it does, we would have been able to see in action there. So I think it's not there. But if you are keen, let us know. I think we can do something for you on that basis. Based on the demo presentation, reports template based already built in. Can I design and create own report based on the perspective without relying on the templates? Yep, of course you can. Don't bother with the templates, but essentially all reports are based on what we call data containers. So each of these report that you see that we execute or that you see in your installation folders, all of them are using some data container, right? So as long as you go and have a and say, I can create based on using that particular data container, then your answer is given, right? You can actually create your own report on a basis. But if you say that the data container is not exactly what I want, I think I need something a little bit differently, then that one, you either have two choices. One, either opt for the connector license so that you can create your own data container, or look for someone that is willing to share with you a report that actually use the combination of tables that you wanted, right? And once you import that report in, that data container is open for you to create your own reports. Can I convert or use reports initially made from financial reporter to BI? No, the answer is no. The financial reporter, I presume you're talking about the statement designer that is used in the general ledger, is a totally different product. In fact, a statement designer is something that was built, I think, 30 years ago or something like that, right? So it's a very uh, old technology, but even after saying it's old technology doesn't mean it's obsolete technology. In fact, till today, no competitive product in the market can actually come close to what we offer in Statement Designer, right? In fact, SI, although it's a wonderful product, I think in certain unique situation, Statement Designer still able to do things that SI cannot do. For example, we will create a report where you can drill down to the transactional screens in Sage 300. After this report is run, can I save in a shared folder and let other users choose which year they want? Yes, the answer is yes. So the key here is when you run the report, two things you must do. One, choose the combination of years that you want the user to be able to choose from. And the other thing is to specify a folder name and a file name. And then, of course, once that the report is saved as the file name in that folder, you must share that folder with your users so they can go in there and click on the Excel file and interact with it as if they are using the report viewer. Okay, somebody actually posted. Somebody is saying that Sage Intelligence.com report utility not working. That's interesting. Because I downloaded the report utility while preparing for this seminar, so something must have gone wrong. Maybe we can get back to you again, Alex, on this. Okay. Okay. How is the figure for the benchmark derived? Okay, there is a default values that is preset into the Excel workbook, which you saw when I executed that sample report, right? Now, that I'm not too sure where the benchmark numbers are taken from, right? The idea here is if those benchmark numbers are not like the type of benchmark numbers that matches your industry, you think that yours is a bit different, then I think the idea here is you can edit that worksheet with your values, and therefore now you'll be comparing against your own. Yeah. I think Anastasia has left us, so but anyway, if she were to review this recording, she can maybe hear this part of my answer. Uh, will this run out of the box, meaning you can just download and run Sage Intelligence without the need to configure it with your existing Sage 300? Okay, the answer is no. The reason is because to talk to Sage 300, we cannot just simply let you go in there without some kind of security control. So essentially, for you to get into this SQL Server database, you will need to go through with a user account. So the way the report viewer works is that it will go through this system manager of Sage 300 and therefore automatically picks up the user account that you have entered in, and then in the background identify what is the user ID and password to go access the physical data in the SQL Server. Okay, so the next question here is where do we get that Sage Intelligent Report utility? I think what Alex just commented here is that he tried to go to that URL and found that that URL is no longer active or working. Maybe something went wrong. I think somebody might have discontinued that link, but we can find the link for you again, right? What version of Excel can be supported by the 6300 SI? Okay, so uh, you need to have a version of Excel that is not Microsoft Office 365, right? So if you're on Office 365, I think it's still not supporting it. At least as far as I know, because I was on Office 365 and I find there's some challenges using it, so I decided to switch to the desktop version of the latest product. But you can still use 32-bit or 64-bit desktop, but not the Office 365 version. Does Sage Intelligence work on the web version of Sage or need Sage app? I think it is only working for your desktop product. I don't think it's working for your Sage Cloud Sage 300 Cloud at the moment. I tried to open a financial income statement, but it state that I cannot make changes as I don't have. That is good. Uh, as I don't have report designer license. That is weird. Maybe the license you've been issued, maybe they didn't give you that report designer license. They should, because as far as I understand, the only thing they are not giving out to you guys is the connector license. So if you cannot go into that because of the report designer license, I think you can check with Sage. They can check against your license setup to see whether somebody missed out that license for you. Next one will be, will this run out of the box, meaning you can just download also? I think that one is answered. Okay, somebody saw the workshop. Okay, by the way, if you are in Singapore and you are interested to attend the workshop, half-day workshop, it is going to be held on the October the 11th in the Sage Singapore office. So I think you must reach out to Lynn to get the invite if you have not received the invite yet. For users to run a report, they only need to have the viewer license only. Yes, that is if you want them to run the report and extract the data as at that moment in time, right? But if you think that that person doesn't need to have the data at the time where they run it, and they are okay with a report that you have generated and saved an Excel file somewhere, maybe a day old, a week old, or whatever it is, then you don't really need the report viewer. Okay, the next question is, will it be possible to have hands-on? Yep, the answer is already answered, October the 11th. Yep, I think I've covered all the questions. Okay, I think I covered all the questions already. Back to you, Lynn.
Yeah, I guess if no more question, right? I guess Charles, I think we can end today's session, right?
Yes. And
Okay.
since all the questions are recorded as well, so I think for those who have left before I came to the question, you can refer to the recording. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, everyone. And for Singapore customer, please watch out our EDM invitation, and then make sure you get all the license installed, everything ready if you want to join the hands-on workshop. Otherwise, right, if you don't have a license installed and cannot connect to the database, it might have some issue. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye bye. Have a good day.